I mean, it absolutely astounds me, my ability to do something so simple as water plants and just make an absolute mess of it and get water everywhere. Okay, different hair now. Different hair now. That's a little bit better, isn't it? Okay. 2023. Hi everyone, we are getting towards the end of the holiday. It's gone past so quickly. I had all these plans to get all this stuff done and of course didn't get as much done as I hoped. I still have a few outstanding tasks I really need to work on. Got a couple of deadlines that are looming. I really want to finish some of my new embroidery kits and get the supplies ordered for those, so I'm going to work on that. I'm also working on some new designs, want to finalise those up, want to do the test prototype embroidery designs and make sure that they work before I get them printed in bulk. Working on a new design that I want to start. I've been doing some sketching about that one and I think that that's going to get going over the weekend as well. One of the big things we did do was clean my daughter's room. Cece's room was an absolute disaster area. We managed that, so that was a big plus, but it took a long time. So today I also want to fit in some time to spend with her in her room. She got a lot of really cool craft projects and she wants to get started on those, so I need to work with her on those. I'm going to tidy this space up as well, so lots of little things that just need to get wrapped up. I'm also going to talk a little bit about this year and how it's gone for me and what I plan to be doing in 2024, and I'm very excited about all of that. So I hope you'll stick with me and see what's going on.
Celebrate the wins and it's on to the next one. Flies that done did it, I be cozy when I'm dressed up. Drip down, they do not compare till I'm sit down. Stand on my business, that's how I'm getting down. Hey, stack it up quick, I'm tryna be safe and sound. No, you not a vibe, yeah, you know I been that guy. Yeah, you know all that shade ain't gon' never block the shine. Yeah, I be shining like I'm supposed to, you might see me sliding in that old school, yeah, I ain't never asked for no favors, so if you ain't...
So a year ago, almost a year, exactly a year ago, I did a vlog which I never posted, and in that vlog I talked about Open Coven and how I was going to make it a viable business, and I had very little idea, or very little kind of clear formed ideas about what that would be. I had the idea of embroidery kits. I thought about doing those, but I just felt like it was too complicated. There were so many pieces to it, I felt really overwhelmed. Over the months, I started to figure that piece out, and now embroidery kits are the thing that I work on the most, and they are not that hard at all. In that 12 months I figured out my processes, I figured out how to turn my designs into embroidery kits, and I made how many? I don't know how many I made. Oh, let's see if I can figure it out. Witch Against Hate, Radical Mystic, Cultivate Community, Collective Liberation, They Them Theirs, Spring Tree, African Violet, and Hex the Patriarchy, Mountain Witch. So that's 9 designs, plus I did my horoscope ones, which is 12 different designs based on each sign of the zodiac. So that is 23 designs that I managed to do in 12 months. while also keeping down a full-time job, while also having my kid and all the other things that come with having a kid and a family. So I feel like I made quite a big step in 2023 towards developing my creative process and also developing my vision for the business. I also learned a lot of lessons about things that I probably won't focus on in the new year. And I also made my peace with online marketing and social media. At the beginning, I was really reticent to pick up social media and even doing these vlogs and everything else because it seemed like a lot of time, and at the time I was trying really hard to develop my designs, and that was what I was focused on. Now that I feel like I've got that process done and I've got ideas coming and things are moving along, I realise now that I need to focus more on social media and on the vlog. The other reason I didn't want to do it was because I was around a lot of people who were very negative about social media, and for good reasons. But also, I feel like we've become more and more binary about everything. Either you love social media and therefore you are a certain type of character. That was the impression I was getting from people. Or you disliked social media and you were a certain type of person. And I never really felt I was in either of those camps. I've used social media in the past and I've enjoyed it. I like online stuff. My background is in online learning. I like making videos and I love editing. And so I was getting really influenced by what other people were telling me, even though actually I probably was a bit more comfortable with it than I was willing to admit. The other thing that I was frightened of was people telling me that they spent hours and hours and hours on social media and it either never made any difference or it was all they were doing and they weren't actually creating anything tangible. And that worried me too. I didn't want to get sucked into a hole where all I cared about was likes and follows and things like that. It hasn't figured out that way. It hasn't come out that way. I feel like I have a fairly healthy relationship now with social media. I use Instagram and TikTok, but I don't use them a lot. I've also noticed that the amount of followers or likes or whatever I get doesn't necessarily correlate with sales. And so people who might be wondering about this, tons of likes doesn't equal tons of sales. And in fact, I've had sales from people who I don't even know who they are. They've never engaged with me online. That's fine. You know, that is in fact quite encouraging because it means I don't have to get caught up in that sort of, are things increasing, you know, the algorithms and statistics and the analytics and things. I don't really care about them very much. Equally with this vlog, I don't have a lot of followers. I hope I will in the future because I actually really love doing these in particular, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, those things have been really interesting to see how they've evolved and how my feelings about them have evolved. The other reason that I'm focusing more on social media and will be doing so in 2024 is because, I'm going to be honest with you, craft fairs and in-person classes didn't really work for me. I did several craft fairs, some of them more successful than others. I didn't get a lot of sales. It was a huge amount of time and effort, and in some cases money to buy stuff for the actual kind of display. And I didn't get many sales. I didn't even really get that many people coming to my pop-ups or craft fairs or whatever. And it was a massive time drain. And time for me at the moment is a really precious commodity. I don't have a lot of it. And I was spending hours and hours and hours after work, at weekends, which is also time I'm not spending with my family, which is really important to me, trying to get ready for these craft fairs and sitting there for hours on end and barely making any money. Now, I'm just a beginner, so I get that I'm not about to get tons of people flooding my table, but also I think that the product that I have isn't ideally suited for craft fairs. And as a result, I'm not going to bother with them in 2024. The other thing that is connected to craft fairs is pop-ups. I did a couple of pop-ups, they weren't super successful, and I won't be doing any of those in 2024. I also tried to do some in-person classes, and those were pleasant, and I got some really great people coming, and some who were very close friends of mine, and it was great to see their skills progress. But by and large, not a lot of interest in those either. Now, that is possibly because my name isn't established, the brand isn't established yet. That's fair enough. And so that means that I need to focus more on my branding and focus more on developing my my vision rather than trying to teach classes and trying to do pop-ups. I chose not to work on original craft pieces early on because I knew it was going to be a very difficult uphill battle to convince people to buy them. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Handmade original pieces are really hard to sell, I think, in my experience. Other people may have had a very different experience. Unless you are scaling up to sell a larger number of items that are less time consuming to make, it's really going to be a struggle to try and sell those pieces. I've seen it with a lot of my friends. I've seen it with people who are incredible artists and who are highly skilled and highly experienced and highly talented, and they have struggled in certain time periods to make ends meet. And I never wanted to be in that position. I didn't want my work to be dependent on selling original pieces. I wanted to make sure that what I was creating was spreading to as many people as possible. And the reason I chose embroidery kits was I decided that I loved doing fibre arts and I love illustration, and they were a perfect match. Additionally, one design can be rolled out multiple times. They can be sold to many, many people instead of one design being for one person. I love the idea as well that through making kits and also digital downloads, which is what I'm going to focus on more in the new year as well, I'm developing a community of makers, and that to me is really exciting. It was really heartbreaking to sit in craft fairs with my original pieces and find that people said, oh, these are lovely, and then would look at the tag and then walk away. And that was so heartbreaking. I really felt bad about that. So making the kits was a lot more of a viable option for me. And it meant also that I could sell things wholesale. I've got 2 wholesale accounts at the moment, and I hope to grow that in the next 12 months. I felt like this is much more my speed. Sometimes making original pieces is stressful. I'm always worried about how the quality appears. Are they good enough quality to be sold? The amount of pictures you have to take, the amount of convincing people need to buy them was just not my thing at all. And so I hope that with the embroidery kits and with digital downloads as well, I'm going to find a niche. And yeah, that's, fingers crossed, what I plan on working on. So in 2024, I'm going to be doing more social media. I'm going to be working on more kits. I've got my new spell line that I've mentioned in other vlogs, where it will be an embroidery kit with some ritual items and also instructions on how to use the embroidery kits magically. So those I'm going to be working on, and I hope as well to develop more designs as time goes on. And yeah, I'm really positive about the new year. Please let me know if you have any questions about starting a new business, and also how, in case you just want to say hi. Colours.
There we go.
Are you adding it to all of them? So that's going to make it glow in the dark?
Yeah, because I accidentally added too much.
That's okay.
Okay, let's add something. Oh, this blue.
Oh, I work in the spare room. The spare room is of very limited space, so I can't spread stuff out and everything gets really messy really quickly. But what I do need to do is figure out how many embroidery silks I need to order for the new kit that I've got coming out, which is a little kitty cat planter, which you've seen in other videos. And also I've got to replenish some of the stock of my other kits. Up to Christmas, I had quite a few sales, and I'm still getting sales. So I need to make sure that I am ordering enough embroidery silk so that I can make more kits, so that I've got a nice stock. So what tends to happen is I have to put the kits together. My husband just sneezed unnecessarily loudly. He claims that he can't help it, but he absolutely can. the reason I need to do this is I need to spend some time putting kits together so that when I get orders, I'm not scrabbling around at the last minute, which has happened in the past. What happens is I get the orders and then I try to put those all together after work in the evening so that I can get them out the next day, or at worst case scenario, the day after that. So I wrap them up and everything, and I need everything ready to go when that happens. So I need to go through my embroidery silks, which are in this bin. I don't have a tidier way of doing it. I've seen other people who are far more organised and have far more space putting them on these really great kind of pegboards or whatever. That is my dream, but right now this is how it goes. And finally, New Year's Eve came, and being a witch, it was a very appropriate time to set some intentions for 2024. So that's what you see here. Writing my intentions on some paper and then burning them in my cauldron, and the cauldron is a symbol of transformation. I wish you all a wonderful new year full of hope and peace.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year's. Happy New Year. Bye-bye. Much love.